timers, 60-second timers. Welcome, everybody. Happy Monday. This is our first day back from Dice Tower West. We flew out of Las Vegas last night at about 6 o'clock, landed in Seattle at about 9:20, and we got home at about 1 a.m. in the morning. So that was a long day. That was a long day. But we got back safely, which is a blessing. The pass, we went over Snoqualmie and then Blew It. And Blew It was a dream. Really nothing at all. A few snowflakes falling here and there, but Snoqualmie was a mess. And it wasn't bad, but it was nasty. It was just that kind of slushy snow that after it first starts falling, because it was coming down hard last night, coming over Snoqualmie late, and there's just a lot of accumulation, and the roads are still not really warm enough or cold enough, and it just kind of turns into this slushy mess. But just took our time and got over it. It was not bad, not a bad drive. It was much worse than it was much better than I thought it was going to be after we read the report of it, saying that it was snowing heavily with snow and slush on the road. And I was like, well, crap. But we made it back safely. It's all good. And it's a blast. It's a blast. Tommy Clay asks, did you get my email? It says it's sent. And the answer to that, Tommy, is no. I did not get to do that because I haven't received the email. So I think there may be a misspelling in my email address because I have not got it. I've tried both of my emails, which is weird because I only gave you one of them. But I thought because we've talked before in the past, I thought maybe you might have sent it to my old email address, and you did not. So Flipside OBG, FLIPSIDE OBG @gmail.com. Tommy, and send me another email. I've got your package. It's sitting right over there. Right on top of our kennel, our dog's kennel that we no longer really use anymore. We've got him trained to stay off the couch, kind of. But anyway, Andrew is here. What's up, Andrew? Got to spend some time with Andrew over the weekend. That was good to see and meet him and his wife. That was awesome. Henrik Madsen says, hey Sam, hope you had a great time at Dice Tower West. I was wondering, since you like Guards of Atlantis 1, if you have tried 2. It's amazing, especially with the new update cards. I have Guards of Atlantis 2, but sadly I've not got it to the table yet. And that's really kind of a bummer because I really do enjoy, or I did enjoy Guards of Atlantis. So if Guards of Atlantis 2 is better and streamlined and they fix some of the issues, then I'm all for that. So we've got to get that to the table, but we'll get to that later. Welcome back all, Philip says. Last week felt long without the streams. Well, I appreciate that. But yeah, we did. It was kind of a long week, wasn't it? So that's cool. David Brownlee's here. Howdy, good to see you. Victoria Ketchum is here. Hello, Victoria. Terrier Halo is here. Rule errors, we call them happy little house rules. Yeah, happy little house rules indeed. We'll talk about that in a minute. Matthew Vincent is here. Doug is here. What's up? Miss you, Sam. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate it. Miss being here. 4 a.m. for Ashley and I. Made for fun writing my paper for class tonight. Wow. 75 degrees today. Obligatory check your spam folder reminder. I did. Working for companies and sending emails from companies and mailers and that kind of thing. That's one of the things that we got into the habit of telling our customers to do. So it's one of the things that I normally do when somebody says, I sent you an email. Did you get it? And I checked my spam, and there is nothing there. So please try again. Let's see. Oh, for crying out loud, use my email as a buffer. I'll go between for you too. That's funny. I have a few years to go before I'm 75. Yep. Yeah, I don't think Matthew was saying that he's 75 today. I just think that he's saying it was 75 degrees today. So yeah. Sorry, I meant welcome back, Sam. No worries. It's okay. I thought you knew somebody else's name based on their handle. So no worries. Brett Brewer says, hey, Sam, catching you on the drive back from Dice Tower West. All right, cool, Brett. Nice to have you here, buddy. Thank you for being here. Speak for yourself, Doug. Memoir 44 spread at Dice Tower West looked epic. I took some video of it, and I'm going to make a video of it to go up next week. It's not going to be anything spectacular, of course, as far as the video is concerned. I just want to share the footage that I did take because it was an epic experience. But I do want to kind of explain what people are looking at as they view that video. So I'm going to do an intro and an outro and then put those a few clips that I made while we were there together. So that people can kind of have a better understanding of what they're actually looking at, because it took 5 hours. And Tom came up to me, Tom Basil, came up to me afterwards, and when we were actually leaving to go get a taxi, and he was like, "How in the world did a game of Memoir 44 take 5 hours?" And I said, "Dude, we were using 4 breakthrough maps." And he was like, "Why? Why would you do that?" He was kind of incredulous, but he was like, "Why would you do that?" I was like, "That's how we played it. It's how you play it now." He's like, "No, you can still play the other way." I was like, "Yeah, you can, but we didn't." and it was just it was a really fun time. It was a long game of Memoir 44, but it was still really fun. Had a great time. So we'll talk about that later on. Let's see here. Looking forward to hearing about Dice Tower West. X-Wing Pilot says, stay on topic. Stay on topic. Guards 2 is amazing. Fixed all the complaints I had. You now have a timer, and you can win now if you make the enemy lose all their lives as well. Okay, it was great chatting with you and Jesse after service yesterday. That's awesome. Good to see you here, Brett. Good to have you here. You should try emailing Tommy first, and then he can reply, since this has been, 3 weeks now? Well, that wouldn't mean that I have Tommy's address, and I don't recall, because it was years ago that we talked. So I think I may have even tried, but I don't remember. I don't recall. I'm gonna try to. I've been busy. It's not like I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs waiting for Tommy to get a hold of me. I actually have his gift packed up, ready to go. I just need an address. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. Dr. Frankenolly said, driving back to California right now from Dice Tower West, saw in one of your shorts that you played Sausage Sizzle. Just taught that yesterday to some new people I met, and we had a blast. Well, yep, that is cool. Heard rumblings about a Memoir 44 second edition that's being worked on. Have you heard anything? I haven't. Personally hope they will streamline team play Overlord. Could be cool. Well, no, I haven't heard anything about that, but yeah, a bit of streamlining here and there would be good. It's always good to do that on a second edition, but I hope they don't overhaul it, because it's a great game as is. Now, people have their druthers with it. They don't like that they can't dump their hand of cards and get new ones, and so much weighs so heavily upon dice rolling. I get it. I totally get it. But understand that you're simulating something that is, to a degree, unpredictable. Now, strategists throughout history have become known for their strategy in war, and I get that. I totally get that. But stuff happens, you know, and that's what that game is trying to simulate. It's trying to simulate not all, you know, the difficulties and the unexplained circumstances sometimes that happen in those scenarios. And even the scenarios in the game are not balanced. You're supposed to play both sides before you actually determine who the winner is. So, and most people don't do that. I've only talked to a few people that have said that that's how they normally play it. Most people, it's just a one-off. So I get it. It's not for everybody, but it has a really, I think it's one of the better designed games as far as the system is concerned. I have no druthers. I do have a younger dister, though. Oh my gosh. Just let me know if I need to track Tommy down. We have our ways. I'm sure you do. Doesn't matter, Tomo. You'll never get it. It still ain't got mine. Sam uses Kevin Costner on a horse for delivery. Still haven't got yours, huh, Bushman? Well, that I will check on, because yours should have been there by now, as a matter of fact. So I will check on that. I have the receipt over on my desk. So, did you play Sabaton's Primo Victoria when setting up the game? No, we didn't. Vanessa's here. What's up, Vanessa? Good to see you. All right, so talking about Dice Tower West, a little bit of a debrief, and then we'll get into the rules errors question in a little bit. But I'll do the debrief first of all. We'll talk about games that we played, and specifically games that I took so that I could get them played. And we'll start with this one right here. Mino Dice. Mino Dice played this a couple of times, and it was a little bit difficult to wrap my head around, but I think I've got a hold of it now. So this coming week on Friday, we have another Steamers West event. So I'm going to take this. It is a dice rolling. Okay, you got that? It is a dice rolling trick-taking game. That is basically what Mino Dice is. So, and the number of dice that you're going to roll and how many tricks are in the hand is dependent on what round it is. So in round 1, you have exactly 1 die. In round 2, you have 2 dice. In round 3, you have 3, and so forth and so on. It goes all the way up to round 8. So you play 8 rounds, and whoever has most points wins. Basically, how this happens is that there is one person who's going to lead, and they will roll their dice, and the dice have different colors, and you have to match the color of the dice because that's the suit that was led. And then the dice have different numbers on them. Generally speaking, highest die is the winner. Color does not matter unless it is one of the top 3 special dice: the Minotaur, the Griffin, and the Mermaid. So there's only one Minotaur die, which basically beats everything, unless you roll a white flag on the Minotaur die. Then it doesn't beat anything. Then you have a Griffin die, and I believe there's 2 Griffin dice, and then there's 3 Mermaid dice. So there's only 6 special dice, and there's, I think, 8 of all of the others. So they're very hard to get. And it won't happen very often, but you can actually score a truckload of points if like perfect storm situations happen when you're rolling these different dice. But that's basically what it is. You have to bid to see how many tricks you think you're going to win, and if you get it correct, then you get 20 points for that for each trick that you won. If you got it wrong, you get minus 10 points for every degree away from what you bid. You got by what you got it wrong. So if you bid 3 and you only won 2 tricks, you'll get negative 10 points. But if you bid 3 and you got 5 tricks, then you'll get negative 20 points. So If you bid 0 and you don't get any, you get 20 points, 20 points times what round it is. So in a third round, if you don't get any bids and if you don't get any tricks and you bid 0, you'll actually get 60 points. So that's basically how this works. It's a dice rolling trick taking game. It doesn't sound like it would work, but it's intriguing. I'll put it that way. I need to play it some more to see how it really falls out. But that's one of the games that we played at Dice Tower West. Another one that we played, since someone was talking about it here earlier, is exactly that, Sausage Sizzle. This is from 25th Century Games, and what's the other one? The other company here, Marcus, Inca and Marcus Brand, artwork by Ian O'Toole, 25th Century Games. So basically what this is, it says on the back, it says, humans are having a sausage sizzle, and it's drawing a crowd of hungry Aussie critters. A quokka, a crocodile, a platypus, an echidna, a snake, and a kangaroo will all try to sneak food away from the Barbie. Making off with any food is good, but those sausages sure look the tastiest. So you basically have these dice, and this is another dice roller, but this is kind of like an interesting version of Yahtzee. You basically have these 6 animal tokens that are in front of you, one for each of the different animals that are available, and you're only going to be able to score one of them per round, and the game is only 6 rounds, so you will only score one of these animals once over the course of the game. Personally, everybody can do it, but you personally. Then you have these guys right here. These are the actual dice, and you have 4 of them that are animal dice, and then you have 4 that are number dice. But you have these sausages that are on these sides of the dice. All right. So you have sausages on this, on the lighter, kind of on the orange die, there are 2 faces of sausages. So they're easier to get on these dice. But on this one, there's only 1 side. But these guys go up to 5. All right. So what you're doing on your turn is you're going to roll these, bloom, and then you're going to, you have to lock one of those dice, at least one. So maybe I want to score my platypi. So I'm going to lock these 2 dice right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and keep rolling. Boom. And so, oh, I got another platypi. So there we go. I'm not locking any of these, but because I don't have what they wanted to roll yet. So now I have a 5. I can lock any of these, but I'm going to lock this one. And we continue going. And oh, now we have a couple of 4s. I don't really necessarily want to lock that one, but I'm going to lock the 4 instead. So now we roll again. There's my other platypi. There's another 4. Oh, here we go. Let's see. I'm going to roll this. All right, it's a 2. All right, so now that I'm finished rolling and I'm done, I'm going to take the number of platypi, or the number of dice that I want to score that have the animals. In this case, I'm going to score my 4 platypus. And I'm going to multiply 4 by the lowest number that's over here. So I was really hoping that I could get at least a 4 on that last roll, but I only got a 2. So my score for this round is going to be 4 times 2. That's 8 points. We go ahead and write that down on my platypus square here, and now I can't score the platypus the rest of the game. So that's basically how it goes, and everybody just kind of plays that way. This is the score from the second game of it that we played, and it was pretty close except for one person. It was pretty close. Now, there is another thing about the sausages. Sausages are normally just a 1. All right? They only count as a 1. But if you're able to lock all 4 sausages, they become a 7. So in that last case, I got 4 platypus. I got 4 platypus, and that would be 28 points. So, and that's the most that you can get from a single hand. But if it happened where it was like, okay, I really want to go, I want to get 5s, and you roll a sausage, instead of this being, this is going to be 4. instead of 20. If this had been a 5, it would be 20. But because I rolled 1 sausage, it becomes just 4. So it's really kind of a swingy game, but it's fun. And it goes fast, it plays fast, and turns go really fast as well, generally speaking. But we really had a good time playing Sausage Sizzle, actually. Not a difficult game to play at all, and it has that staying power. So this one I'm going to probably be reviewing over on the Dice Tower this week. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. This is one that 25th Century sent the Flipside. So this is what we'll be reviewing on the Flipside. And Mino Dice will be coming next week, probably. But there you have that. Let's check. I don't like the idea of playing both sides to win. Oh, okay, talking about memoir. Yep, understood. I get it. But it's how it's supposed to be done, because those scenarios are not balanced. So if you have one person gets trounced because the scenario is imbalanced, because that's the side that got trounced in reality, then you play it again. And if that person that got trounced the first time can beat the other person by at least 1 more medal, then they win, even though they got trounced in the first game. So any cool news you did see played at Dice Tower West? No. I was talking about this to some people the other day, and when we were sitting in the airport yesterday, and I didn't really do a lot of, publisher time. I didn't spend a whole lot of time in the demo hall or the publisher hall, the exhibitor hall, except for when I was working the Dice Tower booth. I spent most of my time playing games with people, because that's what Tim brings me in to do. He brings me in to be there to play with people, and so that's what I did as much as possible. We did take some time away from the convention, but just played a lot of games. Didn't do a whole lot of talking to publishers or anything like that. Just a little bit of here, a little bit here, there, and it was just kind of not really in passing, but just kind of very minimal, very minimal. But still, it was a great fun time. I have thought about buying Mino Dice. If you like trick-taking games and you don't mind the randomness of it, because you do have to roll a die, it's fun. We enjoyed it. I just need to play it some more. Snail mail? No continental drift mail. Sam, did you get your Santorini yet? It's nice. No, I haven't got it yet. I don't even have a whatchamacallit, one of those shipping notifications. Don't even have a notification email yet, so we'll see. Didn't like this game. Assuming it was Sausage Sizzle. Oh no, it must have been Mino Dice. Don't really like trick takers, especially the ones where you have to bid. Yeah. It was called Skull King, the dice game originally. Sounds a lot like the original Skull King trick-taking game. Yeah, well, that's probably what it is. There were people that we played it with that also really enjoyed Skull King, and Danny, as a matter of fact, Tom's friend. That's exactly what he said. This is like Skull King. Bid and trick, hard pass, sorry. Sounds like a bad joke. And a echidna and a kangaroo walk into a bar. Yeah, so still not seeing a game large enough to force you to buy another suitcase for the return trip. I didn't buy another suitcase for the return trip. I rarely do that, as a matter of fact. So far, these were just the games hiding in his sleeves. Being forced to play games is how Sam earns his meals. Not really, but no, you're just joking. All right, a couple of games that I took to get played is this one right here, Dracula versus Van Helsing. Jesse and I played this while we were eating dinner one night together in the in the sport bar place area. She 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 got some quesadilla tacos, and I think she probably set her head on fire with how spicy she thought it was. I took a couple of bites and it wasn't spicy at all. But everybody has different tolerance levels. She went back up to the place where you pick up your food, and she said, "Do you guys have any sour cream? Because my food is really, really spicy." And the lady behind the counter goes, "What did you order?" And she said quesadilla, and the lady just goes, "That's not spicy." But here's your sour cream. It's just funny. So Dracula versus Van Helsing. This is kind of an area control type thing, but there's a little bit of you're using cards to determine who wins what area of the board. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas of the board, and each area has 4 villagers in it. And the villager tokens have a normal, like, human side and a vampire side. So there's a hierarchy that's randomly determined at the beginning of the game. One color suit is trump, and then the other 3 are ranked from strongest to weakest. And that's determined at the end of the game, at the beginning of the game, randomly. Then there are cards, there are abilities that allow you to change it throughout the game, but you have to do it. So on your turn, you're basically going to draw a card, and you're going to look at it, and you're either going to swap it with one of the 5 cards that are already in front of you that are for each of the 5 areas of the game, or you're just going to discard it. If you choose to swap one of the cards in your hand, then you're going to discard the one that's in your hand, and then that allows you to do the special ability that's printed on the card. So you have the ability of just taking a card and discarding it and using that special ability, or taking a card, swapping it with one of the 5 that's in front of you, discarding the one you swapped it with, and using that special ability. So every round you're going to be using a special ability, and you have a choice on what it is. But once 6 cards have been discarded, at any point after that, either player can declare the end of the round. And basically, you're going to declare the end of the round when you think you've got the other person beat in as many areas, or in the specific areas that you want to beat them in. So once somebody has declared the end of the round, you're going to take the cards and reveal them, and whoever has the highest card, based on the hierarchy of the suits and the numbers that are represented there, will win that area. If Van Helsing wins, then Dracula has to take a hit point, has to lose a hit point. He starts the game with 12. But if Dracula wins, he takes one of those villagers and he flips them over to a vampire side. So Van Helsing's going to win when he has got Dracula down to 0 hit points, and Dracula will win when he gets one area on the board that has nothing, that all 4 tokens are vampires now. It's a really cool 2-player game. This one's going to be coming up pretty soon as far as a review. I want to play it a couple of more times with Jess and go from there. But this one is one that I didn't know that I was going to like, because I wasn't a huge fan of the artwork. But a lot of people that I've talked to about it said that they really enjoy the artwork. So again, it's kind of that bloody in style kind of artwork, and it's not really a hit for me, but I don't mind it. It's just not, I'm not clamoring after it. However, gameplay was really fun, so this is one that I was very happy to be able to play, and we're going to get it to the table pretty quickly again. Let's see here. So far, these are just the games: hiding, asleep, being forced to play. I would have probably thought it was spicy. Yes, you probably would have. Micah's here. What's up, Micah? Good to see you. How's it going there? I have some troubles to sleep, so why not hang out here for a while? Well, I'm sorry you're not be able to sleep. That's going to make the rest of your day hard. Does Van Helsing turn into a beefy werewolf? No, he does not. Love me a Dracula theme, but I'll wait for a review. Go ahead and do that. That'll fine. It'll be coming soon. My second favorite Van Helsing is a beefy werewolf. All right, another one that we took down to play is from Plata L. Board and 25th Century Games. It's called Tasso Banana. Tasso Banana. And from the back of the box, we all thought before we opened it, oh, look at the cute little bananas. Yeah, no, they're not little at all. And one of the things about this game that I think it's weird. I think it's cool, but what I don't really like it when I have to pack it up is how the box comes apart. And so this thing just kind of unfolds like this. All right, and you actually have the player board. I think that's cool because you don't have to pack a board into it. These are banana leaves, and it makes it harder. This is how you make the game a little bit harder. So basically, you're taking these like fairly large miniature bananas, and you take a certain number of bananas. Everybody gets an even number of bananas at the beginning of the game, and on your turn, you're basically just going to put a banana out on the board. All right, and so when bananas are put out on the board like so, or maybe it's like this, and then you can place it anyway. You can even do something like this where it's like hanging off the edge of the board, but it's not touching the table, so it's okay. But when you're placing bananas out there, you can't touch other bananas unless you're going to stack a banana on top of two other bananas, and you have to stack it on top of two other bananas, so you can't do something like this. All right, you have to stack it on two other bananas as long as these other two bananas aren't already supporting another banana. So if this had been like this, and I had this in here like this, like that, I would not be able to do something like this because this banana was already supporting one over here. Anyway, as you're putting out these bananas, when you're able to stack one, crap, let me just get this right here real quick. When you're able to stack one like that, you're able to place another banana. You're able to take another turn. And the goal of the game is to get rid of your bananas before anybody else does. But as we were showing just a little while ago, if, for example, it was something like this, I could try to do something like that. But if it doesn't stay up there, you have to take it back. And if it knocks any others off, you have to take those as well. And then on top of that, you also have to get one given to you by the person who played previously. So you have to be careful. It is a dexterity game, but it's a really neat dexterity game in my opinion. And it's one that doesn't last very long because not only are people losing bananas based on being able to get them on the table, but they're also possibly giving away the bananas by to other people who are messing up as they try to place theirs out there. So it actually plays a lot faster than you would originally think it does. But that's Tasso Banana. Also need to get this one played a little bit more so that we can review it. But I'm pretty confident that it's going to be reviewed pretty soon. The last one that I took down to try to get played. Well, this is not the last one that I took down to get played. I also took down Yakuza, and I didn't get that one played. But this is the last one that I took down to actually play there. This was a hidden hit. I didn't know what to think about this because it says that it's a 20 to 30 minute game, and it actually is, and it goes up to 8 players. So it's a party game. But the whole idea of Grindhouse is that you've been mysteriously invited to stay overnight for 24 hours in a haunted house where some grisly murders had taken place years ago and nobody's gone there since. And so somebody new has just purchased that property, and that person, the new owner called the host, has sent out these invitations to these people to win $10 million. If you can stay in overnight. And This is definitely not a cooperative game. This is like the antithesis of a cooperative game. You literally, one of the games that I played on the first round, I was you get a persona card and you get an item card, and my persona was that I was a psychopath. And so it gave me the ability to reveal that I was a psychopath and just pick somebody and kill them. They become a ghost. Now, it doesn't mean that they're out of the game. They're still able to do things during the game, but they can no longer win unless the factor of their ghost card says that they win if certain conditions are met at the end of the game. And you're just going through these different rooms in the house, and every room, generally speaking, a survivor has to either volunteer or be chosen to be the figurehead of whatever is happening in that room. And then, you know, it can be anything from like one of the person who volunteers is put in the stocks, and we take turn. The rest of the people take turns throwing rocks at them, and we have to roll the die to see what happens. And if you roll a 6, you hit them right in the face, and they have to take a wound to the head. You know, that kind of stuff. It's really kind of it's a theme that I would not normally be drawn to. And so when I read it and I was like, this doesn't sound very fun. And there were actually people that we got to sit down and play it that were like, I'm not going to like this game because of the theme. And they were like, oh, this is awesome. And so it's one of those things where you don't think you're going to like it initially, but it turns out that you do. It's just one of those things, because there isn't a whole lot of super gory imagery. It's just text that you read and decisions that you have to make. The wound tiles that you have to put onto your character card, they are depicting like severed limbs and pools of blood and stuff like that. But it's just not what I thought it was going to be. And that was a good thing, because it presents itself as a very grotesque game. But I guess the mental imagery would still be there. So I don't know that I would play this with younger kids. As a matter of fact, it does say age 14 and up on the box because of the subject matter, I would believe. But it was fun. I want to play it some more. I know JT wants to play it, and I have a whole bunch of expansion content over there that Everything Epic sent me. So this was actually a very pleasant surprise. So I was glad that we got this played. I played it, I think three times altogether, a tutorial, and then we ran, maybe it was 4. We ran 1 or 2 more games after the tutorial one night, and then I played another game the next morning. And then when I had to go visit the booth, they asked if I would just leave it with them so that they could play it, and I did, and they played it a couple of times while I was working the booth. So it actually got played a lot, and there were 5 or 6 people, I think, 4 to 6 people that after they played the game, they were like, I want to go buy it. And so they went and checked it out. But that's Grindhouse. Interesting little game. You'll be hearing more about it later on. But that is what I played. Did you guys do anything outside? Let's see. Hold on. 6.5 out of 10, JT says. I don't know what he's talking about. That's a floppy box. Yep, truth. What's up, Sam? Stetson is here. What's up? Just got home an hour ago from Dice Star West. Great to see you. Good to see you too, Stetson. Did you guys do anything outside of the convention? Yes, we did. We went to watch the Vegas Knights play the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I don't think the Penguins showed up. I think they thought that this was just an exhibition, or that maybe they thought they were playing the minor league Golden Knights, because they definitely did not bring their A game. They got whooped 4-0. But Samsonov played very well. Ilya Samsonov was just a wall for the Knights. It was a fun game. It was definitely a spectacle of an event. I will say that, but it was fun. We had a great time. My haul from Dice Tower W, Dice Tower West, D-Day Dice, cool. Beyond the Horizon, new capstone release, Rebirth, Cascadero, and 1 kidney stone. Ugh. Sorry, dude. Ugh. That's not cool. Oh, large miniature bananas. I'm buying the game to kit bash some 40k orc mega boss with one so he can run and beat space marines with a giant banana. That's awesome. Dexterity, bet you loved this. Well, actually, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind Tasso Banana at all. Actually, it's just one of those games where I don't like dexterity games that take a long time, because over time my dexterity decreases as I play the game. This one's very fast, very light, and I didn't mind it. Laughing so hard at how many times Sam can say bananas within a minute. I'm sure it was more than I needed to. That's funny. I was going to invent a new word for anti-cooperative game, and then I realized that it's a competitive game. That is correct. Grindhouse has been on my list of games to try for a bit. Gotta go for now, Vanessa says. See you later. See you later. Grindhouse, baby. 6.5 out of 10. Van Helsing versus Dracula. 6.5 out of 10? Dude, I don't know about that. We'll have to see. Pens are in last place. Yeah, well, it looked like it. Sidney Crowder is getting along in the tooth. You are absolutely correct. He has definitely lost a couple steps. He's still a good playmaker, but you know, I was watching because that's one of the things that's one of the things I was actually looking forward to, is seeing Sidney Crosby play in person. That was a huge thing for me. I have mad respect for him. But man, some of the younger players are just running circles around him, and he always had, you know, he always had the solid passes. He always had the, you know, tape to tapes and you know, back, you know, what you would expect from a future Hall of Famer. It's exactly what he was doing, but you could definitely see he was just a couple of steps slower than everybody else when he was on the ice. I got dice thrown X-Men and Missions Saturday. Ooh, that might be something we've got. Gambit is my fave to play so far, Philip says. Well, that's interesting. All right, so another game that we played, and this is going to be a little bit of a segue into my haul. Another game that we played that was also a game that we purchased was this one right here, called Keepers. I picked this one up from Van Ryder Games and talked to the designer, or should I say the artist of the game, because the artist is a photographer and all of the cards are some of the pictures that he has taken over the course of his 47-year career / hobby as being a nature photographer. And so basically what you're doing here is it's kind of like Dixit, where you are going to be taking one of the cards out of your hand, and if you're the first player, then you're going to say a non-noun word that goes with your picture. And then everybody else picks a picture from their hand that thinks that it either goes with what you said or it is absolutely not what you said. And all of them are shuffled together, and then they're put out on the neoprene mat board in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. They get their own spot, and then they're turned over. And then everybody has a little dial, and they vote on which one that they think either is most like what the first person said, or they can vote for what is least like what the first player said. And the card or cards that get the most votes in both of those categories goes back to the person that put it out there. And once everybody has had one turn as the first person, whoever has the most cards under their return to them wins. It's a very simple game, but I got to talk to the Byron Georgian, and he actually has taught or still teaches photography, and keepers came from what he would tell his students are good photographs, And so just to kind of show you an idea of some of the pictures that are in here. So the cards themselves are actually pretty nice. They have, the backs have that kind of raised, almost like a, I can't remember what it's called, but some of the stuff, like the K, if you look at it the right way, it's kind of shiny. You see how it did that? Let me see if I can get it to do it again. Yeah. See how it kind of is just kind of shiny? Anyway, that's what it looks like on one side. On the other side is just his photography. And we'll show a bunch of these out here. And it's just nature photography that's out here. And some of it is pretty specific. Some of it is not very specific. But these are actual photographs. These are not, artistry or anything like that. These are pictures that Byron actually took. And I thought that was the coolest thing about this. I'm not a huge, fan of Dixit, but if you give me a game that is made by a photographer and it has this level of photography in it, I'm kind of on board. I do love nature photographs, and it's just one of those things where I wanted to purchase it right off the bat. And so that's kind of what you've got here. And I am looking forward to giving this one a whirl some more because, oh my goodness. There we go. Got to get all these little chips. So the cardboard chips are just what people use to kind of differentiate between each other. And when you get one of your cards back because it was chosen, you just put it under your disc. And then this little poker chip, kind of Too Many Bones-esque feeling type thing, is the first player token, the curator. So that's that. But the neoprene board, the playmat is also pretty nice. It's very minimalistic, but it's nice. It gets the job done. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool. But that one's a really cool one. I didn't even see that one. That's neat. Anyway, nature photography has always interested me, and I've never heard of this before. And being able to talk to the person that took all of the different, here's all the little dials. So it just depends on what place they are on the board. And so if you're saying that 8 was most like it, you would go to, you would show green 8. So that's most like the word that was said. If it was the number 8 and you think it was the least like, then you would put it as red. And so that's how that works. But I was taken by the artwork. He actually started with, that was taken in Olympic National Forest. Now that picture, and which is up here in Washington State. And Byron did me a solid and signed the inside of the box for me. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, this is one that we got played, and it was a good kind of end of the night type game. And I think that's probably where it will stay, in that kind of just, everybody's generally pooped, and we just want to get one more game in. That's kind of what it feels like for me. But anyway, it also has a little thing in there where you can take this and basically scan that code, and you can click on each of the different pictures or cards that are in the game, and he will actually share with you all of the different technical aspects of the picture, what he used, as far as what kind of lens, what kind of camera, what kind of this, what kind of that. And so if you're interested in that kind of thing, you can scan the barcode or the QR code, and he'll share that type of information with you. So he has that vanridergames.com/keepers. So anyway, that was one that we bought and played at the game. So that gives you a little bit of a segue into let's see. This was the Meant to Look and Forgot. Sure, talk about it now. And that sentence above is what 2.7 hours of sleep gets you when you stop being a young adult. I got the win from museum before a weekend. Thanks a lot, Sam and Alexander. Art is on the cards, not the mat. Love it. Production looks top notch. It actually is. Game is his business card, right? Oh, you want to see my portfolio? Let's play this game over here. All right. So, haul. We're going to go ahead and talk about the rest of the stuff that I got. A couple of things. We're not going to unbox everything, by the way. I'm just going to show it. So, what Tim and I did, a panel, the top 10 backpack games. So games that will fit in a backpack. And I know everybody is so funny. Ooh, how big's the backpack? Well, we're just talking about like a normal size JanSport. And so one of the guys came and he was like, hey, we actually have a backpack game. We actually were calling it that. And it's Creatures, and he gave us a copy of it. So this is basically just like a conversation starter where you might have to do some crazy stuff and some stupid stuff or say some stupid things. But, you know, like strike a pose, mockingbird, balance, you know, all of this kind of stuff. But it is just a bunch of little mini games that you can play when you're sitting around a campfire or what have you, or, you know, taking a break on a hike or whatever. So we're looking forward to taking a look at that. I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of those kinds of games, but I get, you know, what he's talking about as far as building community, building relationships. These kinds of things actually help do that. Break the ice, you know, that kind of stuff. So that's one that we picked up. Another one is Ito from Arcane Wonders. We actually purchased this one. And this is one of those things where you link your numbers and your thoughts. So categories, size of animals, express the number you hold by the category. So, you know, if you have a 94, then, well, I have a, you know, a whale, you know, a 40, I have a tall person. Well, 80, I have a baby whale. 8, I've got a puppy, and, you know, that kind of stuff. So you have to rank your numbers based on whatever the category is. It's really interesting. I've never actually played the game, but I've watched the game being played, and it looks interesting. And it always looks like whoever is playing it had a good time. So we went ahead and picked this up from Arcane Wonders, and we are looking forward to that. Another one that my wife picked up from Arcane Wonders, because our kids have played this game ad nauseum. And this one's called Hello Neighbor. And Hello Neighbor, and it actually has, you get a free Spy Neighbor skin unlock code for Secret Neighbor on your PC. But it's the party game designed by Ariel Rubin and Juliana Patel, and 5 to 10 players, ages 8 and up, about 30 minutes. So your creepy neighbor has something locked up in their basement, and it's up to you and your friends to reveal their plot. You'll need to use objects you find around the neighbor's house to locate 3 different keys, but there is only one problem. Some of your friends are secretly villainous neighbors in disguise. So you have to trade and cooperate. So there's 40 objective cards, 10 role cards, a rule book, and 3 keys. So interesting. We'll try to break this out and play it with the kids, see what they think. Another one that I picked up from I can't remember the name of their company. Dadgummit. Randy O'Connor, the name of the company. Wasn't it Randy O Games? Well, there you have it. Randy O Games. This is called Gun It. when I was with the Dice Tower after the cruise, this is one of the games that we played on their Ketchupalooza. And I actually really did enjoy this one, so I had to actually purchase it. It is basically, you are trying to, the Inertia Corporation has you surrounded. Is your crew ready? So shoot and drive your way through a horde of hostile cars, trucks, hovercraft, biker gangs, and armed helicopters in tense scenarios and rapidly changing road conditions. When the timer counts down, exchange cards to decide who shoots and drives where, when, and how. Once the action begins, exploding vehicles will create unexpected chains of chaos. You may hurt the Inertia Corp or blow up in your face. Is your crew ready? And again, this was just a really cool thing. I had a good time playing it, so I wanted to pick it up when I saw that it was there. And then you also have their Inertia Corp Electronics Laboratory, 80 experiments in one. So this is just an expansion pack that you add to the base game. And we're looking forward to giving this one a try. I think it'll be fun. I think Jess and the kids will also enjoy it. Now, Jesse got taught a game, and that I had played on the cruise with JT and Mel and a bunch of our other friends. Can't remember everybody that was there. I remember that JT and Mel were there, so I'm not going to say anything else. I can't remember everybody else. Jim was there. Yeah. But anyway, this is called River City Glassworks, and I won, but it was literally just luck that I won the game. And so I noticed that it was super lucky, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's kind of a set collection game where you're trying to collect sets of different kinds of rocks, but how the rocks score is a little is less simple than it probably should be. But as the rocks are flowing down the river, you can take groups based upon other things in your tableau, and you're trying to build your collection in such a way to where you score the most points. But it's got really cool. She went ahead and bought the upgraded components, the little actual, I guess this is glass, maybe, I don't know, but just little glass beads that replace what I would imagine are cardboard in the box. I don't know what's in the box. Let's go ahead and open this one, shall we? All right, let's get down to the table. Boom, boom. Ito is amazing. We had some amazing plays of it at Dice Tower West. A hilarious party game. Must have been David that brought it to streamers last year. Not it. All right, so we've got all of this. Well, I guess we just have more. Wow, look at that. I guess we just have more. Huh, that's interesting. Looks like Jess got took. Yeah, the little dudes that come with it. The little dudes in the thing. Little, the gold mining, pans, trying to find the different things. Oh, this actually looks like the deluxe edition. Doesn't say that it is, but man alive. Anyway, this is the bag that the pieces are going to go into. It's a really nice bag, but it's got the artwork on it. Looks really cool. But that's that. Then, oh, the actual acrylic tiles. Yeah, I thought they came with, I didn't think they came with acrylic tiles, but cool beans. And there is a film on these, in case you guys didn't know. Other people have talked about it, but whenever you get acrylic pieces like this, it has, I just trimmed my nails this morning and I trimmed them a little short, but you can peel back this piece, and instead of it being Usually there will be one on both sides, I imagine. Yes, there is. So one of the things you have to do in the game is to do this, because if you don't do this, the pieces are going to be super cloudy. So as you can see, we've got this piece right here and then this piece right here. You see the difference. One is pretty clear and the other one is a little cloudy. Not terribly so, but you get the idea, right? So you got to take that film off. So make sure you do that, people, if you have this game. All of this stuff, man. Here's the actual river. So again, I really like, oh man, they kind of miffed the edge of it though. Dang, why'd they do that? Anyway, it's really neat. So all of the little pieces are gonna go, where did I put the clear one? I put the clear one down somewhere. Where is it? There it is. So these things are gonna go down here like so. And they're going to be flowing down the river. Okay? But a whole bunch of them will be out there at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. Man. I'm going to have to work with this thing. All right. We're not worried about that right now. Here's your... Oh, that looks like a solo board. Is that a solo board? Ooh, maybe not. I think it might be. That's a solo board. Awesome. I'm going to play this solo. See how it goes. But nice dual layer boards so that the little pebbles stay where they're supposed to go. But a lot of good stuff here. So that goes in there. These are other little pieces. So that's cool. Boom, boom. Then we also got and other sundries. So this is like a expansion for River Valley Glassworks. 6 modules to expand your game with player powers and new scoring conditions. So I didn't dislike this game. So I am glad that she picked up a copy of it. I'm also glad that she enjoys it. So this is a game that we'll be able to play, and she will enjoy it. I will enjoy it, and we'll have a blast. I know I haven't put everything back in here yet. I know, but I'm going to work on that later on. So for right now, this is going to go right here, and we'll work on getting everything else in here later on. But that is that, and I'll have to work on getting that playmat back in the board. See, look what they did. When they rolled up the mat in the game, which I don't have a problem with, look at that nastiness. That right there. Blom, blom, blom. Can fit my finger in there. Look at that. So I'm going to have to do something to get that to... there we go. I think maybe that'll do it. Anyway. Straighten it out. Straighten it out. Now it won't fit. This will go in here. Just like so. That will go down. This actually will just, I think, probably lay flat until I put all of those chips in there. Clink. Clink. Wah, 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 wah. Let's see, weird. I know we played it there. I had thought it was one Sam had, but obviously not. I wonder if he's talking about Ito. I have never owned Ito. No, I have not. Well, that kind of works. We'll have to work on that. There's a slight bit of lid lift. but it's okay. All right, another one that we picked up was Florista. And this was a request because Daphne and Dante have played this with Doug. And yep, Allplay brought a lot of their deluxe versions to the con. Ah, well, that one makes sense. Yeah, we probably bought and we didn't realize that we bought the deluxe version. So, whomever was running the register that day, shame on you for taking advantage of my wife. I'm not. I'm just kidding. That was a joke. I did not mean that at all. Anyway, this has one of those things that I really do not like, and the little stickers on the edge, because I'm very afraid that if I try to take that little sticker off, it's either A, going to rip the paper of the box, or it's going to leave behind a sticky little residue. So how do we get past that? Well, we just kind of cut the tape, and that sometimes just leaves sticky things on there as well. So how are we going to do this? Need to find a sharp object, and I guess that will have to do for right now, which is not the best, but a flathead screwdriver. Let's do it. But this is one that Daphne and Dante played with. I'm not going to open this. I gotta wait. Anyway, this is one that Daphne and Dante played with Doug and Emily on the cruise, and they wanted us to try to pick this up because they enjoyed it so much. So we picked it up, and we're going to be giving it the full treatment here on the flip side, but it looks like it's cool, you know. Welcome to Floresta, a competitive board game set in central Portugal. Immerse yourself in the captivating realm of forest management, where players strive to maintain and improve the health of the Mediterranean forest while battling destructive wildfires. Strategically plant and nurture trees, harvest wood, promote tourism, reintroduce the lynx into the forest, and construct watchtowers to control fires. That sounds like a cool idea. And I like the wood components that are in the game as well. So I'm looking forward to giving this one a whirl. And it is also a Dice Tower Essential. Look at that. That's Floresta. Now, something that I have been thinking about purchasing for quite some time now, but I decided not to purchase the entire kit and caboodle because at the end of the day, JT has his own copy of everything that is Final Girl. But I went ahead and purchased a starter set of Final Girl from Van Ryder Games. And this gives, I think, this is just one of the, with this starter set, you'll get the core box and your first feature film, The Happy Trails Horror. So The Happy Trails Horror, which I haven't played yet, comes in this box, and it's the core set as well. So this is a complete thing. You don't need any of the other feature things. It's by itself. But since I was there and they had it, I had to also purchase the Krampus module, the Horned Devil module that I have played because Vintage Traits artwork. And while I was there, well, lo and behold, because it's so freaking noticeable, here's another one that is, it's called the Falconwood Files, that is also by Vincent Traits artwork. So, starring the Slayer. Peculiar events, missing people, and kids on bikes. These are all things you'll find in the town of Falconwood. You and your friends have to complete a mission to uncover what is really going on and discover the source of it all. Slayer, an interdimensional creature with a mind to destroy the town you know and love, is pulling helpless victims into the mirror dimension. Yeah, it's basically Stranger Things, which is cool because I'm also a fan of Stranger Things. So I have my own set, my own core set, and 3 movies that I can play at my will. But now that I have the core box, I can just borrow these things from JT and not have to borrow his core set as well. And that was basically the thing that what I was going for. So yeah, this is Friday the 13th. The Krampus one is, I don't think any specific. It's just called the Horned Demon or the Horned Devil. The North Pole Nightmare, sorry. Santa's Village, the North Pole Nightmare. And then this one is called the Falconwood Files with the Slayer. So I had to buy the 2 that had Vincent Dutrait's artwork on it. And this has the core box and the Happy Trails horror in it. So that's another thing that I picked up at Dice Tower West from Van Ryder Games. And then last but certainly not least, JT, I asked him, I said, what do you want? Anything you want me to look for? Anything you want me to see if it's here? And he said, SETI? And so I looked, and definitely there it was. So we went ahead and picked up SETI for JT. We're going to play it on the channel. He and I are going to review it on the channel, the Flipside. And then this will be JT's copy. So that's how that goes. I'm not going to unbox it because this is JT's stuff, so he's going to be able to unbox it. I'm going to give it to him later on when he comes over. Another great art design from Andrew Bosley, Stresson says. That is correct. Meant to put all play. I got you. Hilarious. I just bought Foresta last week as well. I am no fan of the stickers on the edge. Neither am I. Neither am I. Me and Tim just could talk about this on our Western Contingent podcast that went up on the Dice Tower today. We talked about a little bit, not the whole time, but we talked about those things, and I definitely expressed my abhorrence of them. Sam said he wasn't going to be opening all the boxes anyway. You are correct. I am not. That's Friday the 13th. I like that one. It does not add any quirks to the rules. Yeah. The Krampus one really made me dislike elves. Stupid Legolas. Are all of the scenarios Vincent Dutrait's art? No, they are not. They are not. You can, like, for example, just the... here, I'll go ahead and put this back up. Boom. So these 2 specifically are Vincent Dutrait's artwork. All right, so take a look at how the picture looks, and kind of see. I'm going to lay them this way, so that and just kind of see the style that I don't know what it's called. It's just like a cross hatching style where how he does his shading, and I just love the texture that it brings to his artwork. So if you have those 2 that are there, and then you have this one next to it, there is just a difference between the 3. This was good. Don't get me wrong. This is good artwork, but I love the texture. I love Vincent's style and way of just putting his signature style on all of his artwork. It looks so cool. This looks good. Don't get me wrong, but it is just not as good as these. And so it's just one of the ways one of the reasons why I like his artwork so much. But that gives you an idea. That would make it a SETI. That is totally a JT game, Victoria says. Yeah, I know it is. And when I saw it, I pretty much knew that was what he was going to say, but I wanted him to say it first before I bought it. If you have 8 movies, I think there's 1,024 combos or some such. Wow. I don't have 8. I just have the 1, 2, and 3. I just have 3. JT has everything. He loves Final Girl. He has everything. I'm pretty sure he backed season 3 as well. So I'm pretty sure he's going to be getting everything. I wanted the ones that I mean, Vincent Dutrait's artwork and Stranger Things theme, yes please. Vincent Dutrait's artwork, Christmassy style things, yes please. And I have my own core box, so it's cool. I like it. We have been off playing Jaws of the Lion, so I haven't watched that podcast yet. No worries, Terrier. It's okay. You don't have to watch it. When I pick up used games at half-price books, I prefer the box stickers to having to return it due to missing components. Sure, I get that. But this is like, this isn't used stuff at half-price books. This is brand new games. And you know, somebody else was saying it in a comment on the Western Contingent. You know, oh no, it was Doug. It was Doug said it. Doug said it. It's like the box is part of the product, and if you're putting a sticker on it that is going to damage the product as I open it, no matter how careful I am at doing so, that kind of makes me angry a little bit. I get conservation. I get, recycling. I get all of that. I absolutely do. But you're literally damaging the product before I'm even able to play it. Whether it's leaving the residue, tearing off part of the box cover, or making me just leave that sticker on it. And then Doug brought up the other aspect of it, because most stores are going to be putting price tags on it. That's another sticker that they're going to be putting on the actual box and not just on the plastic itself. And the plastic gets taken off. If there's a price tag on the plastic, who cares? I just don't like those stupid stickers. I think they're dumb. I think they're a poor answer to the problem or the opportunity of trying to find ways to be more conservational, trying to be more, do more recycling and that kind of thing. I think it's a poor answer. It needs to be rethought. We've been off. Wait. When I pick, okay. Agree on new games should be shrink wrapped. Thank you, sir. I'm glad you agree with me. I can feel better and sleep better at night, knowing that David Brownlee agrees with me. I'm joshing you with you, bro. Anyway, that is that. All right, so the topic at hand. I had some, we do a lot of live plays here on the channel. And we do, a lot of live plays. I do mostly just live videos. And the playthroughs that we do are, I think, never recorded and edited. They're always live. So when we put these live playthroughs up, sometimes months after that playthrough has been done and over, I'll have more people coming and commenting about, hey, you did this wrong. 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 And often when we do live playthroughs, it's the first time we've played a full game of it. And some games that we play have monster rule books. So my question is, and I stated it in the description of the video, is making mistakes on live playthroughs a big deal? And I would like to have the discussion on both sides. If it is a big deal, why? And if it isn't a big deal, why not? I'd like to have that discussion on both sides of it. My take, and I've had other people tell me this before, is that, well, let me preface. Oops. Put this back on here. Sorry about that. let me preface the statement. Let me preface the conversation, rather. After I've already posited the question, let me make this statement. We try very hard to make sure that we are trying to get as many of the rules right as we possibly can. JT is much better at that than I am. I will absolutely agree with him. I will absolutely put him on that pedestal because he is better at remembering, grokking, and interpreting rules than I am. I get a little tunnel vision sometimes when I'm reading books, rule books, and when I'm doing all of that kind of thing. And so I try to watch. I not only read rule books, I try to watch parts of other videos that do a playthrough so that I can kind of understand what the rule book is telling me. Because I don't read rule books well. I'm very much, I don't learn well by just reading. I learn by doing. So, let me just preface the conversation with, we do not nonchalantly play games on the channel. If we play a game on the channel, more often than not, it will not be, I'm going to read the rule book and try to figure out how to play the game as I'm playing it live. I have done that with solo games before because I've already, or solo modes before, because I've already played the game. And so I figure if the game has a solo mode, I want it to be very much, very similar to the multiplayer game. And so, and if it is, I can usually sit down and play the game as I'm learning how to play the solo mode. But often with multiplayer games, we've already read the rule book ahead of time, and so we do not take lightly getting rules wrong. But with that having been said, we are human. And, like, especially of late, recently, JT comes directly here from work, and he is still in work mode, and it takes him a few minutes. And you know, is it a big deal? I've talked to a lot of people that many of them have varying degrees on that kind of topic, but on that question. But many of them basically say, look, I don't go to a playthrough to learn how to play the game. I go to a playthrough so that I can get a feel for how the game works and how the game feels and what mechanisms are used more prominently than others and that kind of stuff. I've had a lot of people tell me that, where it's one of those things where they don't treat playthroughs as learn to play. And I think there's a differentiation between those two things. I think Rodney Smith is a master at teaching you how to play a game without actually playing it. So that if you watch Rodney Smith video, you basically know how to play the game. Now, he doesn't go over every bit of minutia, but he gives you a very strong, high-level flyover so that you know what you're supposed to be doing in that game by the end of his video. He's a master at that. He's great at it. I am not. Now, when I make previews for Kickstarters, that's generally what I do. I give you a preview of the game and its basic mechanisms, because I think that's valuable as you're thinking about whether or not you're going to back a project. You need to know what you're going to be doing in the game that you're about to spend $200 on. And if I can show you in about 10 minutes how the game plays, that's what I'm trying to do in a preview video. But with preview videos for Kickstarters, I've written a script, and I've given that script to the publisher, and they've signed off on it, and now that gives me my shot list of all of the different things that I need to record. And then I make a B-roll video with no audio, and I dub over my voice onto that B-roll footage, using the script that I have the publisher sign off on. And so making those kinds of preview videos are much more involved than a playthrough video. Now, with preview videos, I usually offer a package to companies where we'll do a preview video, which is very similar to what that is, what I just described, and we'll also do a live playthrough. And usually the live playthrough in that instance is there's much fewer errors in those kinds of videos because I've pored over the rulebook multiple times. I've pored over the script that I've written using the rulebook multiple times. I've gone over it with the publisher multiple times. And so I know what I'm doing at that point. The playthroughs are usually not that. Usually these games are games that we're trying to get played for one reason or another, and we're excited about them, and so we want to dive into the deep end. And when that happens, I think mistakes are normal. Let me see what some of you guys have said. Ever watched a Rahdo playthrough? I think you're fine. Okay, I get you. Now, I don't. And I know Doug isn't doing this, but I do want to make sure that I'm not going to just start a flame war here. And I don't think I have. You guys are pretty level-headed. I'm not worried about it. But for anybody else coming in that's not a regular part of the community, I do want to make sure it's very clear. I'm not trying to start a flame war between me and other content creators. Not happening. Absolutely not happening. But I do want to say that, you know, what Doug just said, and this is further down. I've got other stuff to read on before we get back to that. But it's kind of support for what I just said. We're humans. We make mistakes. We're not perfect. We already have hundreds of games packed away into our brains, and now we have another game that we're playing that is very similar in many aspects to other games that we've played, and some crossover, some, you know, kind of bleeding into each other is going to happen. So we'll get confused. Well, this is how it worked in this game. Maybe that's how it works in this game. And then we're trying to mill through a 40-page rule book at the same time while we're doing live, while trying to keep it riveting, while trying to be entertaining. It's a tall order, and I don't think I've ever played a game, and I mean this. And when I say this, let me make sure I make this clear. This is including all of the times that I played games at the Dice Tower with publishers coming in to teach us how to play the game. I think I could probably, over the years, I think I could probably count on one hand, and not have to use all the fingers, how many times we played a game perfectly live. And that's including all of the times we had designers and publishers come and teach us how to play the games. It's hard. There's a lot of stuff to remember. And that just doesn't happen sometimes. Those few times that I think we probably did play it perfectly, it was the designer that was coming to teach us the game. And even then, I specifically remember a couple of times where the designer remembered it this way, and the game's rulebook actually said it this way because that was something that got changed in development and the designer didn't know about. So I'm just wondering if it's a big deal. So let me read some of the stuff of what you guys have said. Love live plays, Victoria says. Thank you for very much. Get a Bob Ross wig and explain the happy little house rules. I might do that, Terry or Halo. We need game inserts made of renewable resources like Soylent Green. Ew, that's gross. Victoria says, I don't have problems with mistakes on a live playthrough. When I play a game, I make mistakes. Why would I expect you to have it perfect? Okay, that's a good way to put it, Victoria. Thank you. Mistakes are house rules till you learn otherwise. Yeah. Nope, mistakes happen. Gives me more ammo to use on you. Yeah, see? And you've got a treasure trove of ammunition there, buddy. I'll tell you that. This is a hobby. It's not about having it right. It's about having some fun and having time together. I will agree with that, but I will say I don't want to go that far down that path because there is some level of professional credibility that I need to be, at least be striving for. Not that I've reached any of that, but I think I need to be striving for some level of professional credibility. So, what I've done in the past is when people have come in and said, "Hey, you made this mistake," I'll first of all thumb up the comment and I will give it a heart, because the owner of the channel can give hearts out to people and so forth. And sometimes I'll say thank you for, I'll actually type it out. Thank you for pointing out the mistake that we made for other people that are watching. If it's an egregious error or something that I feel is egregious that maybe changed how the game should feel, then I'll go and I'll make a comment and I'll pin that comment to the top, explaining what the thing was and all of that kind of stuff. So, and if we made too many mistakes, in my opinion, then I will do another playthrough, keeping those mistakes that we made in mind and basically learning from them. And I'll make another video, and in some cases, I'll take down the other one because if I make too many mistakes, I don't want to leave a bad representation of the game up on the channel for the publisher's detriment, or to the publisher's detriment. Because what if they watch that show and or they watch that video and I gave a poor representation of how the game plays, then they don't go buy that game. Well, now I've actually damaged the publisher. So I get that there is a level of professional credibility that I need to be striving for. I am not trying to be dismissive to this question of making rules errors on live playthroughs. But I do also understand what you're saying, Victoria, that the hobby as a whole should be more about spending time having fun. I get that. But because this is not just my hobby, it's also my job, I do need to be striving to get better at this. So let me move on. It is a live playthrough, not a how to play. That is correct. I've already mentioned that. So as long as you preface it's your first playthrough, you should be good. I do like the idea that ideology, Philip, that you're giving the benefit of the doubt away. Basically, you're saying this is our first playthrough. We might make mistakes, and I try to mention that because, like for example, when we were playing Elder Scrolls, I mentioned that we had played it before. JT had played it several times solo, but there's differences, and they might be minute, they might be a little bit larger from game to game, but there are usually differences between the solo mode and the multiplayer mode. So it's just one of those things where we do try to make mention of it. I usually try to say this is the first time that we're getting it to the table, something like that in the description. But I do like that. Making a mistake, Terrier Halo says, making a mistake on a live play is no deal. It's live TV. Is no big deal, I imagine. Strider. Okay, we're going to let you go say hi. We're going to let you go say hi because you're going to get barky. You're going to get barky, aren't you? Yes. Go say hi. Go say hi to everybody. Go on. Go say hi. Go on. Yeah, he's out there. So Strider started growling, and his growls will turn into barks if we don't let him explore. So I'm trying to save your thing. Let's see here. Making a mistake is no big deal. It's live TV. If it's a mistake that takes a game from a 10 to a 1, may be corrected after if you have been throwing sticks at it during the live play. Sure, I got that. Sounds like Sam has been traumatized by years of paying to the free parking pot. No, that is not the case. Not traumatized. I just don't play that game any longer. I always watch live plays to get an idea about the game, not a review of the game, but that is me. If rules mistakes bothers you during live plays, maybe you should not watch them. Yeah, maybe so. Who's complaining? Nobody's complaining. That's not something... I read all the comments. That's it. Nobody's really complaining about it. It's just that when people make comments and point out, like most recently, the thing that kind of that caught my eye was the fact that they started their post with capital letters, error, colon, and then they put in what they did. I think they might have even timestamped it, but. And again, it didn't bother me. It caught my eye, and so I'm like, okay, we made errors. I think it was on. I don't remember. I don't even remember the video it was now, but they. And usually, what will happen here, as somebody is watching it, they'll make multiple posts, and so sometimes if it's a game that we've made some mistakes on, I'll get hammered with 3 or 4. Mistakes, and I'll have to go read the mistakes, and I'll have to make the determination. Okay, that's a small thing. That's a minor issue. That's a small, whatever. Okay, that's a big thing that might have changed something. That kind of stuff. But I read all of these things, and nobody is necessarily complaining. I think I usually want to give the benefit of the doubt to the people that are making these posts, and they just want people that watch it behind them to be aware of. That there are possibly, and I'm going to explain why I use that word, there are possibly errors on the video. And the reason I say possibly is because there have been times where, and it's usually been a game that JT has been teaching, where they say, no, you guys did this wrong. And then I'll ask JT about it, and JT is like, nope, definitely, we did it right. Here it is. And so when people post those rule corrections, sometimes it's their interpretation of the rules, which may or may not be correct. So nobody's complaining about anything, Eric. I thought it would be a neat topic to discuss, because there have been, in the last couple of days, there have been a couple of comments about that. So it's just something I've been thinking about. That's all. Go watch Rodney. Yeah, that's true. Not a big deal, Karen says. I'm not sure they're complaining as much as feeling the need to correct a mistake because it's human nature. There you go. Doug says, I appreciate viewer comments pointing out mistakes in playthroughs. I see them as helping the community learn rather than pointing out your flaws. Yes, and that's exactly how I usually feel about them as well. Now, it's it's a little harder to feel that way when you have one person making multiple comments, and it's like, oh, you did that wrong. Oh, you did that wrong. Oh, you did that wrong. Oh, it starts feeling like that. So I do have to usually and conscientiously take a step back and say, okay, this guy or girl, whoever they may be, they're just wanting to help the community, and I get that. I totally do. So I'm not coming from an area of offense. I'm not offended by anything that's happened. I just wanted to talk about the context. That's all. Hi Sam, did you receive our board game already? Not that I'm aware of, but I just got in at 1 o'clock this morning. I got 4 hours of sleep. Woke up at 5 to go to a Bible study at church, our normal Monday morning Bible study. And then I came back home and slept for an hour. We went and signed closing documents for the sale of our house, our old house in Malaga, and picked up the dog, picked up a couple of chairs from the house in Malaga this morning, and then came back and started getting ready for this. So I really haven't had much time today. That's okay. Come on. Thanks. Hi. Thank you. So I haven't really had a whole lot of time. If there's a package laying around the house somewhere, I haven't seen it. But I'll let you know as soon as I can, Frank. should be fine as long as folks are keeping the corrections constructive and helpful. Yeah, that's cool, and most of them are. Um, but sometimes when it's one person typing in corrections as they're watching the video, sometimes they can get a little snarky. Nope, you did that wrong again. You know, that kind of stuff. But again, I'm not offended at all. It's just one of those things where I have to, actively take a step back. I have no problem with mistakes in live plays. It makes me feel better when I make one on an early play. Also, it points out common mistakes and ones I can file away for when I do play the game. That's a good thing, yes. That oldish extreme playthrough had no rules mistakes that I can recall. The Cinco Linko extreme, is that right? Maybe the wigs were a good distraction from any mistakes. Yes, that's exactly what those were. It's not a big deal to make some mistakes because everyone does when making them the first time. I don't care. I watch to see what they think playing about the game overall. Then I read the rules myself. Yeah. Elder Scrolls, I have so many little things. Has so many little things. We played that all weekend, and I'm sure we missed a few chunks here and there. I would not like to play that live. Well, I think we did well playing it live, honestly. But again, there is a lot there. There's a lot to grok. A lot of little small situations that will crop up here and there. So, yeah. But I think JT did a smashing job of it. Just the stress of not grinding the game to a halt while thinking. Yeah. Truth. What were the highlights of Dice Tower West for you, Blubberbot asks. Highlights for me was... well, one of the highlights was something that I wanted to try to make happen for Jess, because Jessie is a huge Elvis fan. Like, she loves Elvis. And so the Westgate used to be the International, which was the hotel that Elvis lived at and did, like, sold out, 600 some odd shows while he was living there. And so his penthouse suite still exists. It's been added to, it's been renovated, but it's still the place that he lived during his tenure in Vegas. So I had heard a few years ago when Tom and Tim were thinking about having Dice Tower West be at the Westgate, that they got to tour that penthouse to see if they were going to be able to hold an event there. And so when, a little while ago, I asked him, I said, hey, is it possible? Do they still do those tours? Can we get one of those tours? And I said, dude, I'll pay for it if they'd be willing to because I'd love to have Jesse be able to go through and do that. And it got down to Thursday morning. I said, hey, I hadn't heard back from you. He said he was going to send an email. And I said, hey, I just haven't heard. I'm just pinging you about that possible tour. Is that going to happen? And he texted me back and he said, no, it doesn't look like they do those anymore. So it's probably not going to work out. And so I was like, okay, well, that sucks, but okay, cool. Thanks for asking. That kind of thing. And so I told Jess, I had not said anything to her about it. And so I told Jess, look, because here's the thing. She was like on fire that morning. She was like, I'm going to go talk to somebody. And I'm going to try to see if that somebody can get me in touch with somebody else and so forth. And they're going to put me in touch with somebody else that's going to make that happen. That's what I'm going to do today. And I was like, And then I got the text from Tim saying that they don't do it anymore. And I said, okay. I've actually been trying to get a thing scheduled for you, but Tim just said this morning that he got word back that they don't do that anymore, so it's probably not going to happen. So I'm sorry, I tried to get done, but it's not going to happen. And so she's like, okay, bummer, but whatever. And so we had the VIP lunch that day. And during the VIP lunch, I was sitting there at a table full of other people, and Jess and I were there, and he came up. He says, "I need you back here at 125 after this is over." I was like, "Okay." I said, "All right." He said, "I need both of you here," and I was like, "Oh snap!" And so inside my head, I'm like, "Oh, dude, he pulled it off." How? But I didn't know. And Jess didn't know either, and so she actually got, and so that's what it was. They actually were able. He was able to take a group of VIPers, along with me and Jess and a couple of other people. But I think there were about 12 of us all together, and we were able to go visit the penthouse that Elvis lived in when he was at the International, and Jesse was just freaking through the roof, cloud nine, the entire time. When the guide actually told us that we were going to go visit the Elvis suite, Jesse actually squealed and did this, and everybody else in the group were like trying to play it cool, and Jesse was just like, "Don't worry, I'll be excited for all of you." That was the highlight, I think, for me. That was the highlight of being able to watch her kind of experience that and cross it off her bucket list, and I think that was the highlight for me. The second highlight for me probably was being able to lead worship for the service on Sunday. It's been so many years since I led worship for any kind of gathering that I was pretty nervous, but it kind of felt like old hat, and so I was very thankful for that. I was grateful that the Lord went before me and took care of that, because I was super nervous. I had the shakes, and it was just one of those things where that was a good highlight. I love doing it, but I've had some, personality conflicts with in a city group where I was trying to. It was right after I had just met Jess, and I had invited her to come with to city group, and because of how she reacted to me playing, and because I had not been able to play for a while because of work, they thought that I was doing it to show off for Jesse, and that just kind of put a bad taste in my mouth, because I really do enjoy doing it. But to have that, it just kind of made me gun shy, I guess. But anyway, I was very happy when Tom asked if I would lead worship, because apparently it hasn't had any worship. So that was probably my second highlight. My third highlight was definitely the Memoir 44 game. The Memoir 44 game was that I'll be putting a video up later about was epic. That is just the best word for it. It was the D-Day landings. I had the Rangers on Omaha. Danny from the UK took the British troops at Gold Beach. Christian, a guy that I just met, took Utah Beach. Tom, TM, our moderator, he took the paratroops just on the other side of Utah. And 4 other players took the German forces. Patrick was right across from me. I can't remember all of their names because I didn't get them. We were just playing the game, and it's one of those things where just don't catch names. But I'm horrible at it. But it was such an epic thing, 5 hours, and that was definitely another highlight. So that was my top 3. Probably 4 would be the top 10 that I did with Tim. That was just a great time. I love doing things with Tim. I love talking to him. He's a great guy, and he's always open to talk about things. And I love that about him. Gonna have to work late. Yep, I am. Let's see. At least if they post a lot about mistakes, they're helping the YouTube algorithm show it's a hot video. Yeah, maybe. Okay, thanks for your feedback, Sam. You're welcome. My highlight was during the Elvis suite. Sam is amazing for setting it up. Okay. I just asked the question. Tim is the one that set it up. Tim set it up with his go-between. So I didn't set it up. I just asked if it was possible. Tim did it. Who's harassing you? That's my job. Send them my way. Infringing on my territory. What game did I mess up that bad? You don't mess up games that bad. I don't remember what game it was, but it was, I would most likely be willing to say that it was one of the ones that I was teaching, but I don't remember. I would have to go back and look, and I don't care enough to do that. Uno. Hi Jess, glad you're back. See, you brought back a stray. Don't feed it. It won't go away. All of them, JT. Yes, I know. That's it. I give up. Promises. I'm barely human. David says, not your fault, JT. If Uno had dual layer boards and miniatures, you would have got it right. Draw 12. If the card art was due trait, Sam would draw the whole deck. You're probably correct. I got to go and get some sleep. Good to see you all again. Hope you sleep well, Micah. Have a good night. Yeah, that's about it. All right. So, wow, 2 hours. Holy crap. Time's fun when you're having flies. I got to get going. All right. So, tomorrow, It Belongs in a Museum. That's coming back and tomorrow. So, we'll be doing that. Hopefully, I can get everything worked out with Tommy to get his package to him. And then we'll get the other two mailed out. That's another thing I came back with. I came back with some prizes that I didn't show because we're going to go ahead and just let them be the surprises that they're supposed to be for those that win for It Belongs in a Museum. So there you go. Yes, I know. So do I, right? But thanks for joining me here today. I certainly appreciate it. Thanks for the conversation. I appreciate that as well. Hopefully everything gets back to normal this week. There will be a review on Wednesday because I do have something I can go over for that. And we're going to get back to our bottom 5 and top 5 on Friday. I'll be doing a solo mode. On Thursday. And Wednesday will be the review. And we'll have our regularly scheduled live Q&A with Jesse and I. Jesse will be able to share her excitement for everything that happened with Dice Tower West and on Saturday. So until then, we will see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.